All right. So, Santosh, really pleased to be with you today. Wanted to have a chat, and so it's my pleasure to invite you. As someone whom I've seen over the months. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. So very, very warm welcome to you onto this chat, Santosh, from
Thank,
Australia.
thank you, Rajat. Really appreciate you inviting me, and it's always a pleasure to speak to you, Rajat. Thank you for inviting me again.
Great. So since I'm going to share it with the wider audience because there's so much learning that can, come from you. So I just want to give a quick introduction about Santosh. Um, so I met Santosh in one of our customer experience masterclass, and since then, I've just been following his amazing journey. He's a business process expert, has worked with some amazing companies globally. Right now, based in Australia, and he's got diverse experience across different industries. So it brings the depth and the width of processes in the customer space and different industry experience, and also is extremely passionate about customer experience. That's where we have a deeper connect. So Santosh, once again, great to have you as a CX pro, who's truly a pro, a pioneer in the kind of work that you do.
Thank you, Rajat. Thanks for the nice introduction. Thank you very much, Rajat. Thank you.
Pleasure. So, Santosh, I'm just curious to know that, tell us a little bit about your customer experience journey specifically, how it started, some of the key milestones there.
Sure, Rajat, 100%. Yeah, so it was, I think, last December, I think December 2019, where I was doing a self-analysis of me and my kind of aspirations in the future. Then I realized that I have always been passionate in doing the right thing for my kind of customer. So coming from a consulting background, I have always had a lot of interactions with in a B2B kind of an environment. But keeping myself or putting myself as an end customer, I've had my own share of personal experiences with so many organizations day in and day out. Some of them awesome, some of them very poor, some of them mediocre. So as a customer myself and as a consulting professional who kind of mixes rational with reality, I've always wanted to understand what is the rationale behind providing a particular customer experience. What are the reasons why some organizations are able to provide it best, while some other organizations kind of provide at a mediocre level? So that is where I started. Okay, customer experience is my passion, but I didn't have a pathway on how I could kind of learn about it, which is where I kind of stumbled on the Koyopo website, starting from the CCXP website, then stumbled onto the Koyopo website, and then spoke to you. And that conversation was this very start of my journey. I started kind of putting my own kind of triangle of learning. One is to understand what is customer experience, which is where you come from, Rajat. And then
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I also want to still not leave my process background, which is where I kind of learned about Lean, Six Sigma, etc. Because I am a strong believer that if you know customer experience is well and good, but if your internal processes are not up to the right level to deliver that experience, how much ever you know about your customer is not going to help because your internal process is going to pull you back. And the third angle, which I'm always passionate about, is the technology angle. So these are my three pyramids of learning. But it all started with that one call with you and the amazing masterclass that we had for 4 days. That's where I kind of started on my learning journey.
Wow, wow, great. Yeah, I think I again can sense that passion in you, and you beautifully, thanks for bringing that triangle up, because a lot of people think, what is really customer experience? I'm in technology, I already know business process. And I think the way you brought it together, that these are the three key elements putting into a triangle. A lot of people get that clarity by knowing just this triangle, the way you put together. So what do you think, what do you, from your point of view, if you have to just give a sense of what really is customer experience profession all about? Who is a customer experience professional? What would be your perspective on that?
So before I answer that question, I want to kind of first define what is customer experience for me as a customer. So as a
Great.
customer, when I trust an organization, I can I will expect great and awesome customer experiences. And
Hmm.
the same trust is what I would want a customer experience professional to kind of showcase day in and day out. So trust is very hard to build. But the beautiful aspect about trust is once it is built, it is never lost again. It will take ages for a customer to move away from you once you build a trust. So for me, like my previous article, customer experience is like a marriage between an organization and a customer.
Hmm.
So we all go in highs and lows in our marriage or in a personal life, but we never, it's hard for us to kind of depart so easily. That's the same angle with which I see customer experience professionals and an organization. And the primary aspect as a CX learner, which I've seen throughout, is building trust is the most important aspect for a CX professional.
Wow, great. Yeah, trust. I think really very on the ground, practical, no jargon understanding. Thanks for giving that it's all about trust. And you, the way you explained is think yourself as a customer and imagine any company that gives you an awesome experience is actually a company which is customer centric, right? So that's great. And you mentioned about an article. For anybody who's listening, I just want to share with you all that Santosh has come up with an amazing research. It's very original and never seen before. Something is kind of intertwined, which is astrology and customer experience. And I would encourage you to go check out on Santosh's LinkedIn profile. It is available on LinkedIn as one of his articles. A great read and interesting perspective. Thanks for putting that work.
Thank you, Rajat. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to share with you all. I think again the journey that I've seen with Santosh is that he has been focused, and I would want to hear from you, Santosh, that you just recently had out of many breakthroughs, just recently have breakthrough in terms of your aspiration to get into a job which you wanted to go for, more deeply aligned with CX and process. And you've done I mean, I would want to first of all congratulate you for getting a 2x, 2.5x jump, a hike, and a senior role. Of course, it tells a lot of the capability and the value that you bring to the market and people perceiving that. So congratulations for that. Tell us a little bit about how did you made it happen, and I want that to guide other CX professionals, go for their dreams, right? In this market, when everybody is concerned that what will happen to our future, you based in Australia, you managed to get really a great opportunity. How did you make that happen?
Thank you so much for the wishes, Rajat, and the support. Really appreciate that, firstly. Yeah, so with the CX journey that I've been through for the last 7 months, I have seen that I've kind of matured as an individual in terms of my thinking, and and I kind of identified where my underlying passion lies in. And these are the two drivers that kind of start made me to kind of look at how I can kind of combine my past experience, which is all kind of process related, but my kind of futuristic passion. And I've been lucky enough to have good networks and good friends and good colleagues around me and good tutors like you who have been around me to kind of give me the right advice. But I would really say that the journey of learning and my curiosity, coupled with good networking skills and good friends around me, did make that new jump or new job to come into place.
Great, great, great. Yeah, I think I picked up several things that's really tells a lot. Even in this market, you said a couple of things have being open to learn. I think CX is coming up, so you realized your passion for that and started to go deeper in terms of learning as much as you can about that. And I've been watching that myself as well. That's the second thing. And the third thing you talked about is really being well connected, right? So anybody who feels they have to, you know, l- create more opportunity for yourself, you should be aware of what we worked for Santosh. And I think that could be a good recipe for anybody who wants to get their breakthrough, right? So great story there. Uh, Now let me ask you. I think you've been really. Remember you getting few aha moments during our CX masterclass, especially things like empathy, right? You coming from process background, and I really used to admire your enthusiasm. And when you would get those aha moments, I used to feel really excited as well. Like that excitement used to get transferred, right? I want to know from you what has been really your key learnings, if couple of key learnings from the masterclass that we did together.
I mean, to be honest, really want to start by saying that masterclass was a real eye opener for me. The 4 days that I kind of spent with you and the other colleagues on the call, that was very eye opening and very knowledgeable sessions. Thank you very much for that, Rajat. First of all, and my key learnings, as you rightly said, coming from a process background, my scope of work has been limited just within the boundaries of an organization that I'm kind of working for. But I never had that maturity or that thinking to extend the scope of the work or the improvement to the left and the right of the organization, which is the customer and the subsequent vendors who might be in the value chain. So I've never got that impression to view the entire ecosystem which delivers that end product to the end customer, but always restricted my scope to the breadth of the organization for which I'm doing a process improvement exercise or a workflow implementation exercise, say, for example. So that was a real eye opener for me that, say, for example, when a customer approaches a bank for applying his first home loan, the the experience will start from the time the customer starts thinking to apply for the loan. But the improvement that I have been part of always starts, okay, this is the system where the customer feeds into the application. So that was the biggest eye opener for me coming from the masterclass. And the second thing is the whole the six core competencies, how it is so important to deliver great customer experiences. And obviously, coming from the CCXP Bible book of knowledge, those six core competencies lead the foundation very well for a person who doesn't have a lot of customer experience opportunities. I've never kind of worked as a CX in a CX profession in the past. So that is my second biggest learning. And the third biggest learning is the people who are part of the masterclass add that richness, because you have people coming from diverse and varied experiences, but their knowledge and the way they share in those master classes is so enriching. It's very hard for me as a person to always go and fetch the knowledge from some other person, but these kind of master classes and the communities that we have every weekend is so enriching because of the varied experiences from whom I'm able to learn a lot, which might not be even feasible in the current pandemic climate.
Wow, great, great. Thank you for sharing that. So I think you shared a very, very key points. I think you said you do not come from customer experience background. For everybody who's listening, I just want to say that I think Santosh has been in business for long and deep into processes, so he knew he's a subject matter expert. Yet when he looked at CCXP competencies, which has been the foundation of this masterclass, he started to get an end-to-end perspective. Again, he brought that common sense of being a customer himself, which he shared in the beginning, started to put yourself in your customer's shoes, right? That became easier with the framework, and you started to see end-to-end picture, which is absolutely critical. And I think you leverage that. So that's really great. And I think I keep hearing from a lot of people. So end-to-end perspective is something that's valuable, and anybody can actually learn and leverage that. And thanks for mentioning the masterminds. So again, we every week we meet, and I think it's like what you sow is what you reap. I keep saying that. And Santosh has been really investing. He's been an ardent uh, attendee of those masterminds. I think we facilitated a lot of different diverse group of people come in and everybody pour in. Some people come for learning, but Santosh has been an ardent learner and somebody who's also applying it. And I think it shows in his trajectory of learning as well as his growth path in his career, right? So I think if you have certain community, that's a great place to be in. And I'm happy to have that community, and I'm happy that we are part of that together, and I hope to do more great work. And let's see that more unfolds for all of us. Absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely, Rajat. And the last one that we had yesterday, where the focus was building, where the focus was around building your niche strength, was something that we all speak day in and day out. But the frameworks that you kind of put forth to us makes it so easy as a layman to kind of understand where we should focus rather than kind of going around the bush to kind of understand our strengths and weakness. But there are ready-made built frameworks which you kind of bring it to our attention every weekend. So I would again say thank you very much for those enriching sessions, and you especially taking our time every weekend to speak to us. It's amazing. Thank you, Raja. Thank you again.
Yeah, pleasure. And I enjoy that because of, again, people like you being part of that. Great. Thank you. All right. So I just want to know, as from you, what's your key advice, guidance to people who are thinking about building their career as CX professionals, as customer experience professional, and want to know what are the one, two, three things I should do so that I become a credible, a valuable customer experience professional. What would you advise them? How to go about it?
As a CX learner myself, I'm no CX expert, but as a CX learner myself, I can maybe share few things which comes to my mind on how you might want to kind of approach a CX journey. Firstly, is to have continuous learning culture in your daily life. That's very, very important. Whether it's CX or PX or any track or any career path that you have, continuous learning is what is going to set you apart. And more so now in the current pandemic climate. So I've kind of seen that difference in me after I embarked on this continuous learning journey. That's very, very important. And the second thing is, yes, sometimes you might not get this opportunity to do things in your daily day-to-day work life because you might be working on something else, but you are passionate about customer experience, say for example. So there are ways that you could try it out yourself, maybe not as an exercise, but maybe as an article or as a blog, say for example. So you can put your learnings into a practice very much. And the CX community on LinkedIn is according to me the most friendliest community. There are so many good people on the community, and they will take time to read anything that you will ask them to do, and they will be the first people to give the right feedback to you. So I would really encourage people to leverage LinkedIn as effectively as possible. I mean, as a CX learner, I'm also not that frequent a visitor on LinkedIn, but I'm trying to be as consistent as possible. But I would really suggest that's the second most important item. And the third important item is you can always reach out to anybody to just have a general chat about anything, and you might get a customer experience conversation somewhere wherever possible. So that go-getter attitude might help and will be more important in the current climate as well.
Wow. Great. Amazing. I think I picked up two very powerful. You said so much, I want to say that was gold for people who want to really build their career. I think that was profound. Two things that I just want to again highlight is the leverage of LinkedIn and the communities there. I think again, Santosh is a good example. He has leveraged that, and it's possible because everybody is there to network and to learn from each other. And it's a community which is really made by people for people, right? It's very democratic. So why not make most of that? And of course, when probably in some of our I'm now thinking, some of our mastermind, we just talk about LinkedIn leverage. That might be useful as well. And the second aspect is a continuous learning and, really being open to that mindset. And Santosh used the word go-getter. I think that's really powerful. If we are able to imbibe that, we take away a lot of our fears, what will happen to me, because we are action takers. We make shift from really waiting for things to happen versus going and trying to get it. Results will come sooner or later, right? So that's a great advice. Thank you for that. All right. So I think as we start to wrap up, I just love this conversation. I just want to keep going. But to keep it, also for the viewers to probably give them time to learn from this. Probably the last thing I want to ask you is, what do you see as the potential? You can probably share from your experience, your research, and whatever you have seen so far. What do you see is the potential of customer experience as such, as a domain?
Yeah, as all of us realize that providing the best customer experience has always been the key differentiator, which is why brands like Amazon, Zappos set them completely apart from the rest of the industry. It's even more important with the current pandemic climate. And when the pandemic climate gets over, the focus of an organization is going to be how I could retain my existing customers rather than trying to get new customers. And the way you will be able to retain your existing customers, the only way I see is just by providing them good experience. So, as a human myself, I'm an anxious employee of an organization, or I'm an anxious family head of a family. So, the it's organizations should reach out proactively to their customers and their employees to say that yes, we are there for you. So that is the biggest lens that I will want the customer experience professional to also apply in the current climate. So
Fantastic. Great. Yeah. I think I just love that some people would have given trends, the industry forecast, but I love the fact that you again brought it to fundamental, that if you are thinking about being a customer experience professional, just be human, serving humans, and just be for your customers and be for your employees. And I think that's the fundamental and the most powerful thing. And I think you again took some names which are known as the most customer centric, employee centric companies as well, like Amazon, Zappos, right? So I think it's very simple, that be human and serve with deep empathy, compassion, to make a difference into the people's life, right?
absolutely, Rajat. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, great. Thank you. I think I think that would be the kind of a note at which it might be a good point to uh, call it off. And I would want whoever is watching or is going to watch later is going to find this really meaningful. Santosh, you want to tell people if they want to connect with you, where can they reach out to you?
Yes, Rajat. Yeah, so I am on LinkedIn. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And if there are people who are going to view this video are from Melbourne, more than happy to meet you in person, or from anywhere else, more than happy to have a virtual catch up with you over Skype or Zoom, whatever the means is. Thank you, Rajat.
Great. Thank you, Santosh. Yeah. So with that, we come to the end of this amazing conversation with Santosh, who's a credible customer experience professional. We are curiously watching his journey every step. Just to tell you that I do a customer experience masterclass named as Ultimate Customer Experience Masterclass, which is available. You can reach out to me. I'm also there on LinkedIn. This video is going to be available on different platforms, including on YouTube. So you're welcome to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be part of our mastermind, which Santosh is, then you have to go through the process of attending the masterclass. And then I think continue your amazing journey as a customer experience professional. Thank you for listening and watching. Thank you so much, Santosh. It was amazing to have you. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much, Rajat. Really appreciate you inviting me. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, Rajat. Thank you. Thanks.